Reading Srimad Bhagavatam 4.27.1 Narada Vacham Itiham Puranjanam Satrayam Vashamaniya Vibrame Puranjani Maharaja Reme Ramayati Patim Narada Vacha, Narada said, Ittiham tas Puranjanam, King Puranjana, Sadrayak completely, Vashamaniya, bringing under her control, Vibramai, Bhavacham, Puranjani, the wife of King Puranjana, Maharaja, O King, Reme, enjoy, Ramayati, giving all satisfaction, Patim, to husband. The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, after bewildering her husband in different ways and bringing him under her control, the wife of King Puranjan gave him all satisfaction and enjoyed sex life with him. Please respond. The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, after bewildering a husband in different ways and bringing him under control, the wife of King Puranjan gave him all satisfaction and enjoyed sex life with him. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. After hunting in the forest, King Puranjan returned home, and after refreshing himself by taking a bath and eating nice food, he searched for his wife. When he saw her lying down on the ground without a bed, as if neglected and devoid of any proper dress, he became very much aggrieved. He then became attracted to her and began to enjoy her company. A living entity is similarly engaged in the material world in sinful activities. These sinful activities may be compared to King Puranjan's hunting in the forest. A sinful life can be counteracted by various processes of religion such as yajna, vrata and dana. That is, the performance of sacrifices, the taking a vow for some religious ritual, and the giving of charity. In this way, one may become free from the reaction of sinful life and at the same time awaken his original Krishna consciousness. By coming home, taking his bath, eating nice foodstuff and getting refreshed and searching out for his wife, King Puranjan came to his good consciousness in his family life. In other words, a systematic family life as enjoined in the Vedas is better than an irresponsible sinful life. If a husband and wife combine together in Krishna consciousness and live together peacefully, that is very nice. However, if a husband becomes too much attracted by his wife and forget his duty in life, the implication of materialistic life will again resume. For that point, Srila Rupa Goswami has therefore recommended Anashaktasya Vishayan, without being attached by sex, the husband and wife may live together for the advancement of spiritual life. The husband should engage in devotional service and the wife should be faithful and religious according to the Vedic injunction. Such a combination is very good. However, if the husband becomes too much attracted to the wife due to sex, the position becomes very dangerous. Women in general are very much sexually inclined. Indeed, it is said that a woman's sex desire is 9 times stronger than a man's. How many times stronger? So that it is therefore a man's duty to keep a woman under his control by satisfying her, giving her ornaments and nice food and clothes, engaging her in religious activities. Of course, the woman should have a few children and in this way not be disturbing to the man. Unfortunately, if the man becomes attracted to the wife simply for sex enjoyment, then family life becomes abominable. So that? The great politician Chanakya Pandit has said, Bharya Rupavate Satruhu. A beautiful wife is an enemy. Of course, every woman in the eyes of her husband is very beautiful. Otherwise, others may see her as not very beautiful, but the husband, being very much attracted to her, sees her always as very beautiful. If the husband sees the wife as very much beautiful, it is to be assumed that he is too much attracted to her. This attraction is the attraction of sex. The whole world is captivated by the two modes of material nature, Rajagun and Tamagun, passion and ignorance. Generally, women are very much passionate and less intelligent. Therefore, somehow or other, a man should not be under the control of their passion and ignorance. By performing bhakti yoga or devotional service, a man can be raised to the platform of goodness. If a husband situated in the mode of goodness can control his wife who is in the passion and ignorance, the woman is benefited. See this point? Forgetting a natural inclination of passion, for passion and ignorance, the woman becomes obedient and faithful to her husband who is situated in goodness. Such a life becomes very welcome. The intelligence the man and woman may then work very nicely together and they can make a progressive march towards spiritual realization. Otherwise, the husband becoming under the control of the wife sacrifices his quality of goodness and becomes subservient to the qualities of passion and ignorance, and this way the whole situation becomes polluted. The conclusion is that a household life is better than sinful life devoid of responsibility. But if the household life, the husband becomes subordinate to the wife, involvement in materialistic life again becomes prominent. In this way, a man's material bondage becomes enhanced. Because of this, according to the Vedic system, after a certain age, a man is recommended to abandon his family life for the stages of Vanaprastha and Sannyas. This is a very important verse. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananam Jana Shalakaya Chikshunanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamam Didati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvitam Shapadutam Parajanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Dapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shuta Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaram Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Samiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a very important verse. can see how this whole purport is summed up and how a householder has to be very, very careful. It doesn't mean that you have taken up Hare Krishna, that's it. You see, there are stringent laws in which you should practice Krishna consciousness. You cannot say that now I've got initiated, I know, I've read the book and I know. It's not like that. You understand? Firstly, we have to understand what are the consequences. Like here, it's explained that there are three modes of material nature: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So because we have got this material body, so we are covered by these three modes. Yes? This is the sum and substance. Understand? This is also explained very nicely here. In this verse, Labdva nimitam avyaktam, avyakta vyaktam bhavati yuta, yata yone yata bijam, swabhavena baliyasam. The fruitive activities of a living being performed, whether pious or impious, are the unseen cause of fulfillment of desires. This unseen cause is the root of the living entity, different bodies. Because of the intent desire, the living entity takes birth in a particular family and receives a body which is either like that of his mother or like that of father. The gross and subtle bodies are created according to his desires. Not a single living entity can remain unengaged in this even for a moment. He must act for his natural tendency, according to the three modes of material nature, because this natural tendency forcefully makes him work in a particular way. Give me a minute. Okay, here. The foolish living entity, the foolish embodied living entity, inept at controlling his senses and mind, is forced to act according to the influence of the modes of material nature against his desire. He's like a silkworm that uses his own saliva to create a cocoon and then becomes entrapped in it with no possibility of getting out. The living entity traps himself in a network of his own fruitive activities and then can find no way to release himself. Thus he is always bewildered and repeatedly dies. So this, see how the whole living entity is entrapped by Maya. You understand? So he is covered by Maya. So this Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you know, right? That the enemy is the mode of passion and ignorance. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajaguna samudbhava. I'm sure you know, right? You know this word, right? Right? Yeah? Anyway, we will go to that. Sri Krishna says here, the enemy, your enemy, vidiyena eva vairinam. This word vairinam means enemy. The greatest enemy. Who is the greatest enemy? The greatest enemy is not him, her. No. The greatest enemy is the mode of passion and ignorance. You understand? This is why we are trapped here in the material world. It's not, I read the verse, correct? He gets covered by this Maya and then he acts in such a way that he's building a cocoon and he's trapped inside and no way out. You understand this point? So this Maya is in the form of mode of passion and ignorance. Jai Shri Radha. This Maya is so dangerous. You say Krishna said is, let's read it before we go. If we read this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born in contact with the mode of passion and later transformed into vrat, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of the world. So this mode of passion is, and ignorance is the most, what do you say, devouring sinful enemy of this world. You understand this point? Yeah? Oh, what happens? It says here sinful. What does this mean? It means here let's say here, when consciousness is fixed on the material body, home, and other similar objects of sense gratification, one spends one life chasing after material objects with the help of the senses. Consciousness, thus powerfully affected by the mode of passion, becomes dedicated to impermanent things, and in this way, irreligion, ignorance, attachment, and wretchedness arise. You see how it goes? The moment you get into mode of passion, Krishna says it is sinful. Why is it sinful? Because it brings about all these bad qualities. Brings about all bad qualities. Right? You are very much dedicated to impermanent things. That means material things. Asat. You know, this material world is asat. So we are attracted to the asat. Understand? And then we are also attracted to adharma. Irreligion is adharma. And then ignorance, attachment, righteousness. Sanskrit, Ya arpitam tad vikalpe indriye paridhavati rajasvalam chasanistam chitam vidhi viparyayam. Viparyayam means vidhi means rules and regulation. Viparyayam means opposite. You understand? Against Vidhi. Understand now? So here Vidhi means understanding. No, that another Vidhi. So you can see how this is so dangerous, the mode of passion. Understand? Huh? And the woman is a symbol of mode of passion. The woman is very 9 times more passionate. The body is like that, you cannot change that. You understand? So when you touch fire, there must be precaution, correct? Yes? Like here building, fire, you have got smoke detector, you got fire alarm, you got a fire brigade, there's so many things just to control fire, correct? So you see how much it is carefully handled. Why? Because you see here, $331 is it? If therefore the living entity again associated with the part of unrighteousness influenced by sensual-minded people engaged in the pursuit of sexual enjoyment and the gratification of the palate, he again goes to hell as before. So this is the mode of passion and ignorance, controlled by 2 organs. What is that? The genitals and the tongue. So when a person is engaged grossly in gratifying the tongue and the genitals, then you see what happens. Because he is attracted to this, a woman, he becomes devoid of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, spiritual intelligence, shyness, austerity, fame, forgiveness, control of the mind, control of the senses, fortune, and all such opportunities. See how it goes. You understand? So therefore, handling the passionate mode has to be with a lot of austerity. You can see here also, it's explained here. In this verse, just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, if someone very great by material calculation fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young, low-class couple who is too attached to material life, loses all good spiritual qualities. You understand this point? Huh? See how this thing is working. It is not simply you jump into bed and that's it, you are going on. No, there's a whole consequence on this. You understand? These are all how the mode of passion and ignorance captures. And he loses his spirituality, and that we can see in the classic example Jamil, correct? He didn't marry, he moved in with a prostitute. And as a result, he became low class. He became what? Fifth class. No more good qualities. Robbing people, stealing, cheating, this thing, that, everything. That's why Yamaraj sent his man to take him. Why Yamaraj sent? Because he was so sinful. He lost from Brahman platform, he fell down so low. Do you understand? It is not that you just touch Maya and that's all right. Okay, huh? So you see, by and by, subtly it works. Every bad quality will, just now I showed you, right? You know that? You become there of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, spiritual intelligence gone. Shyness, austerity, fame, forgiveness, control of the mind, control of the senses, fortune, all such opportunities gone, finished. That's why we have to be very, very careful. Handling Maya, of course you may be your wife, that's it. We are not saying everybody loves their wife. Nobody is not saying you cannot love your wife. But you have to follow rules and regulations. Understand? When, as I said, no, when there is a fire, there is a alarm is there, alarm box is down there, fire brigade, so many things to handle fire, correct? Yes? And it says, woman is like fire, man is like what? What? Butter. Understand? So there is check and balance. You follow? So our whole idea is to safeguard. That means the only cause, I'll show you. Just now we went to this verse, let's go back there. This is the only cause, you see here. Esa prakriti sangena purushasya viparyaya asitsa eva nachirat esa sangat viliyate. This verse. Since the living entity is associated with material nature, he is in an awkward position. But if in the human form of life he is taught how to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, this position can be overcome. There's a cure for this. It's not that there's no cure. You see this point? But if in the human form of life it is taught how to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, this position can be overcome. You understand this point? Yeah? How it is overcome is explained here. You can see here in this verse. In this verse, I hope is the right verse. Okay. The mind can be controlled when it is fixed on the Supreme Personality of God. Having achieved a stable position, the mind becomes free from polluted desire to execute material activities. Thus, as the mode of goodness increases in strength, one can completely give up the mode of passion and ignorance. So that, and gradually one transcends even the material mode of goodness, and when the mind is free from the fuel of material mode of nature, the fire of material existence is extinguished, then one achieves the transcendental platform of direct relationship with the object of his meditation, the Supreme Lord. You understand? Are you understanding? In other words, the man is supposed to be trained before he enters the ashram, the grahastha ashram. He is trained. Mangalati in the morning, chanting, so many things he is asked to do. Tapasya brahmacharyena, correct? Is there a tapasya for the woman? No, when you say tapasya, it's a who? Who? Brahmachari. The brahmachari has to practice what? Sleeping on the floor, huh? Correct? Eating once a day, go out and back, give everything to the guru. All this austerity you have to do. Why? Because that austerity brings him to the mode of see here, says in this famous verse, Rashava Uvacha, Nayam Deha Dehe Bhajamna Loke, Kasta Kama Narati Vidbhujame, Tapo Divyam, Putraka Yena Sattvam, Sudayat Yasmat, Brahmasaukyanta Anantam, Tapo Divyam. When you practice this tapasya, transcendental austerity, Putraka, you become Sattvam, you come to the mode of what? Sattvam, goodness. And when you become purified, Sudayan, Yasman, Brahmasaukyam, Anantam, then you get transcendental happiness. So austerity, brahmachari, tapasya, what is that verse? 6.1, huh? 6.1 something, no? Ugh. Six 113. So here, all the verses all together. Tapasya brahmacharyena. So that samena cha damena cha tyagena satya sauchabhyam yamenena niyamena va. That is it. You understand? So, in the translation, to concentrate the mind, one must observe the life of celibacy and not fall down. Huh? One must undergo the austerity of voluntarily giving up sense enjoyment. One must then control the mind and senses, give charity, be truthful, clean, and non-violent. Follow the regulated principles and regularly chant the holy name of the Lord. Thus, a sober, faithful person who knows the religious principle is temporarily purified of all sins performed with his body, words, and mind. These are sins like the dried leaves of creepers beneath a bamboo tree which may be burned by fire, although their roots remain to grow again at the first opportunity. So you see, austerity is very important, that training. So because if he enters in that other ashram, then you understand, associating with material energy, Maya, then he can get what? He can deviate, he can fall down. Understand? That's why you have to maintain very strictly. You see, it is explained here in this verse. Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, you have spoken correctly. However, after capturing animals, a cunning hunter does not put faith in them, for they may run away. Similarly, those who are in advance in spiritual life do not put faith in the mind. Indeed, they always remain vigilant and watch the mind's action." You understand? When you get into this ashram, you have to be very careful. Understand? Because associating with the women, even maybe a wife, whatever, of course you have to associate only with your wife, you cannot associate with others. So then you develop all these kind of what? Qualities. You can develop all these kind of qualities because you are relaxed. Understand? Take it easy. Huh? Household life like that. It starts firstly forgetting to do the morning program. Understand? The morning program is compromised. Then it graduates to eating non-prasadam. Correct? Then it goes on to what? Watching all kind of mode of passion, movies, etc. So you see how the mind. Then chanting is compromised. One thing after one thing after one thing it leads. And before you know, then you are. You understand? This is explained here. You see. All the learned scholars have given their opinion. The mind is by nature very restless and should not make friends with it. If it plays full confidence in the mind, it may cheat us at any moment. Even Lord Shiva became agitated upon seeing the Mohini form of Lord Krishna. And Sabari Muni also fell down from the mature state of yogic perfection. Lord Shiva also, two examples here. Lord Shiva, he fell down. He saw the Mohini form, correct? And what's his name? Sabari, he fell down because he saw two fishes, what? Having a mating under the water? Under the water, not any place. Where? See? See, therefore we should be very careful keeping our mind. An unchaste woman is very easily carried away by paramas, and it sometimes happens that a husband is violently killed by her paramount. If the yogi gives his mind a chance and does not restrain it, his mind will give facility to enemies like lust, anger, greed, and they will doubtlessly kill the yogi. This is how it happens. You go into the mode of passion, and if you are not serious about it, you don't control, then what happens? You get killed. It says what? Kill the son. The mind is the root cause of lust, anger, pride, greed, lamentation, illusion and fear. Combined, this constitute bondage to fruitive activity. What learned man would put faith in the mind? It all starts with the mind. Everything is the mind, The mind is agitated, everything goes. The same point is also elaborated here, Thing is here, let me check. And nevertheless, until by firmly practicing devotional service to me, one has completely eliminated from mind all contamination of material passion, one must be very carefully avoid associating with the material modes which are produced by my illusory energy. Understand? Careful, we have to be careful. That's why I think they say the word Sabadan, is it? What is the meaning of Sabadan? Be careful. What is the word? Sabudan. What is the word? Be careful, right? India. Just as improperly treated disease reoccurs and gives repeated distress to the patient, the mind that is not completely purified as perverted tendency will remain attached to material things and repeatedly torment the imperfect yogi. So you understand, we have to be very careful, That's why the only solution is to have a very strong morning program. You understand? It's a very strong. We have to become very strong in this thing. We cannot compromise. We cannot compromise. It says here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said that three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, pertain to material intelligence, not to spirit soul. By development of material goodness, one can conquer the mode of passion and ignorance, and by cultivation of transcendental goodness, one may free oneself even from material goodness. So the whole idea is to have a solid morning program. If you can do that, then it is good. But if you cannot do that, then you have to come to a place where it is going on. And it's not a 1 week, 1 day affair. It's not possible. You go 1 week, you come here, and all week you sleep. Prabhu, I don't think it's. Let's be very honest. Is it easy to do at home? Is it very easy to do at home? Forget it. That's why Prabhupada wanted everybody to be very close to the temple. Because it's solid program, every day, every day, every day. Understand? And you plug in, then there's no question. You understand? Of course, you may be, it says here, says here in this verse, having awakened faith in the narrations of my glories, been disgusted with all material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery, but still been unable to renounce all sense enjoyment, my devotee should remain happy and worship me with great faith and conviction. Even though he is sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment, my devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to a miserable result, and he sincerely repents such activities. So he goes on, yes, stuff. But morning again, he comes to the temple and he starts the morning program, and immediately he is purified, whatever, again. As he keep doing it, one day. You understand? But if you don't do it, and if you keep falling, then where will you go? You'll drift. That's now I showed you, correct? It will drag you away. You lose all your spiritual qualities one by going, and you will fall, finish. Understand? That's why this waking up in the morning and attending a strong program is very, very, very important. In fact, Prabhupada said, this is Prabhupada's instructional, see, you can see. From this we can understand how we have to be very cautious in executing our spiritual duties by observing the rules and regulations and regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If we neglect doing this, we will eventually fall down. If we must rest early in the morning, bathe, attend Mangala Aarti, worship the deity, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, study the Vedic literatures, and follow all the rules prescribed by the Acharyas and spiritual master. If we deviate from this process, we may fall down, even though we may be very highly advanced. Understand, you cannot compromise with this thing. There is no compromisation. You cannot compromise with the mode of passion and ignorance. It is not possible. It is not possible. But if you are strong, then yes, I think in this verse, Brahmadya Yagya Valkadya Muchyante Sri Sahahinaha Bodhayante Kechanaitesham Vishesham Cha Vido Viduhu. Sometimes it is found among exalted personalities like Lord Brahma that the wife and children are not cause of bondage. On the contrary, the wife actually helps further spiritual life and liberation. Nonetheless, most people are bound by the knots of martial relationship, what do you call it, marital relationship, and consequently they forget their relationship with Krishna. So this is the consequence. If the husband is very strong and the spiritual program is maintained, then there is a good chance that everybody becomes saved. This is why it's also said here. Those who engage in auspicious activities and in devotional service certainly understand that the ultimate enjoyer, beneficiary of all activities is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, when one acts, he offers the result of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and passes life always engaged in topics of the Lord. Even though such a person may be participating in family life, he is not affected by the results of his actions. Jai Sri Radha. So you try to understand that there is a possibility if he engage in spiritual life. It is explained. Even though such a person may be participating in family life, he is not affected by the result of his action. So therefore, the process is that he must somehow or other maintain his spiritual sadhana. That's why it is, I think I posted one topic about deity worship, right? It is in this verse here. Householders must worship the deity. It is in this verse here. Prabhupada said, if we don't do it, then fall down is inevitable. Not going.
Enter and F4. Enter and F4.
Try. Okay.
F4. Until
Okay, yeah. So you see here in this verse, I think I posted this out, so I hope you got it, you know. Here you see in this verse here, Archanam, after Pada Sevanam comes the process, Archanam, worship of the deity. If one is interested in the process Archanam, one must positively take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and learn the process from him. There are many books of Archana, especially Narada Pancharatra, In this age, the Pancharatra system is particularly recommended for Archana, deity worship. There are two systems, Archana, the Bhagavata system and Pancharatra system. And the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no recommendation of Pancharatra worship, because in this Kali Yuga, even without deity worship, everything can be perfectly performed simply through hearing, chanting, remembering, and worship the lotus feet of Lord. Rupa Goswami says, it is therefore recommended that initiated devotees follow the principles of the Narada Pancharatra by worshipping the deity in the temple, especially for household devotees who are opulent in material possession. The path of deity worship is strongly recommended, and an opulent householder in the service of the Lord is called an opulent householder who does not engage his hard-earned money in the service of the Lord is called a miser. One should not engage paid brahmanas to worship the deity. One does not personally worship the deity but engages paid servant instead. He is considered lazy, and his worship the deity is called artificial. An opulent householder can collect luxurious paraphernalia for the deity worship, and consequently for the household devotee, the worship of the deity is compulsory. In our Krishna conscious movement, there are brahmacharis, grahastha, vanaprastha and sannyasis, but the deity worship in the temple should be performed especially by the householders. Brahmacharis can go with the sannyasi to preach, and the vanaprastha should prepare themselves for the next stages of renounced life, sannyasa. Grihastha devotees, however, are generally engaged in material activity, and therefore if they do not take to worship, to the deity worship, their falling down is positively assured. Understand this? Understand? Therefore, temple is so important. And if the householder is not going to follow the rules, then yes, we have no problem. Maya will come in. Understand? And then he will be thinking in this way. This is how he will start thinking. This is what you are going to. Simply by material birth, human beings become attached within their mind to personal sense gratification, long duration of life, sense activities, bodily strength, sexual potencies, friends and family. The mind are thus absorbed in that which defeats actual self-interest. Jai Sri Radha Madhava. You understand? Yes, then what you will do? This is all you will do. Study, make your children become big materialists. Huh? That is the first thing you will do. Study. And you will be not interested in sending the kids to the temple to make him a devotee. This is how it goes. Because the spiritual program is dead. So Maya will take over. Yes? And then again goes on, the cycle goes on. And this way to go on and take again another birth and take and die and take birth and die and take birth and die and go on and on and on. It never ends. Already 150 trillion years have been wasted. Not 1-2 days. Another 150 trillion years, who cares? What's the problem? Yeah? Yes? This way we will go on. It all starts by not associating with the devotees and coming to the temple to have a strong spiritual program. It's very difficult to do at home, please. Unless you are fixed up, yeah, every day you, that's another thing. But it's very hard to be fixed up. Very hard. You understand? That's why temple, proper temple. Why? Wake up and run. Correct? Even the children sleep or what? At least you, the man first has to be standing strong. Then he can pull others up. If he also goes down the drain, then how to do? Some people think, no, my wife will pray, I will just work. I will do the work, but my wife will do the prayer. It doesn't work like that. You understand? You have to pray. You understand? No, your wife is praying. She will pray for what? She will pray for only this thing. Long life, my husband long life, you get good job, you get big. That's all you will pray. Yes? Correct? Yes or not? This is how she will pray. Sense gratification, long duration life, sense activity. You will not pray for renunciation. You will not pray for detachment. Attachment to the Lord is to the Lord. That will come. That can only come when you do tapasya and come to the mode of goodness. Because it is not saying that a woman cannot make advancement. Everybody can make advancement provided they follow this system. You understand? Generally the women are a little weaker. They need help, support. You understand? But the man, his body is designed to be in the mode of goodness. So easy to help. So, but the man stays out, then what the chance? Correct? So we have to be very cautious. Alright, I've done my part here explaining this whole thing. I think I have explained at length very clearly. Yes? No? What?
Yes.
What? No? So you understand now how you can go down the chutes. If you don't want to follow this program, there is no problem for anybody. Even Krishna also, up to you, independence. But if you want to go and take another birth, that's your choice. Understand? It's your choice. There's no qualms. He is waiting here. He is waited already 150 trillion years. This Brahma half-life gone. Correct? He will wait for many more Brahmas. We don't know how many Brahmas life he passed through. That we don't know. Correct? Yes? So why we should get into this mess? That's the question. Alright, we will stop here. Then any questions, any comments on these points?
While the class was running, something about God. Generally, demigods also will be attached to their wife. Generally, demigods also will be attached to their wife.
Yes. Demigods also are attached. You understand? There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planet system which is free from these three modes of born or material nature. They are also implicated. That's why taking by the demigod is not a very I can go on, there's so many verses to show that how there also they are quarreling and fighting. There's so much problem also there. They're envious. You understand? Better to have a short time here where we can think of Krishna and go back, rather than taking birth of a demigod and millions of years and what? Fighting, envious, this, that. Why? Correct? Understand? That's why it says you should become attached to a devotee. They never say you become attached to the demigods. Huh? What is that verse? And this verse, despite the cultivation of Vedic knowledge which is unlimited and worship of different demigods by the symptoms of Vedic mantras, demigod worship does not help one to understand the supreme powerful personality of Godhead. Demigod worship will not help you. Because they are already entangled, how they can take you out of Maya? That's not possible. They say no. What is that verse? 10:51, is it? 10:51. 10:51. That demigods also cannot give you liberation. Huh? All good fortune to you. Now please choose a benediction from us. The demigods are saying, anything but liberation, since only the infallible Supreme Lord Vishnu can bestow that. Demigod cannot give you liberation. They cannot bring you to Krishna, they cannot give you liberation, they are themselves in trouble. So why you want to go there? Huh? You understand? They cannot help. They can give you temporary relief, that they can do. Antavatu palatesham, temporary. But they cannot help you come out of this mess. That's not possible. Vishnu mukti pradataha, Vishnu na eva samsaya, Lord Shiva is saying. Only Vishnu can give you moksha. Nobody else can. You understand? So is it clear? There is no questions, nobody asks questions because it's not online. Okay, I think it's getting late. Thank you very much.